Welcome back on the show for Kansas Sports Chatter as we bring in our next guest. It'll be the Ashland girls basketball coach as Jon Schnable will be joining us here. Like for you, coach, this time of the year, but just the success you've had, like how much fun has this season been for you so far?
Oh man, it's been a blast, trying different things, girls coming in every day working and seeing the success that they've had this year. It's been a blast.
Go back to the beginning of the year. Like what was the mindset and what was kind of the thought process of how the season was going to unfold? And when you go back to, even November.
I knew we were going to be young. We've been young the past couple of years, and watching this freshman group come up through middle school, they had a lot of success then, and then knowing that we were going to be able to compete every day in practice, you know, pushing each other, getting better. I knew we would have some success. I didn't know we would be. Well, I think we're 17-2 right now. I didn't think we'd be this way. Our league's pretty tough, and to be able to have this amount of success through our league, it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, we'll get to that league success here in a little bit, especially I want to go back to that tournament, your midseason kind of tournament. But watching some of those girls like in middle school over the last couple of years, like what did you see and like how anxious were you just to get them to high school?
You know, their style of play hasn't changed. We're a defensive minded team. We're going to press the whole game, whether you like it or not. And that's what they did in middle school. And it was like, okay, now we're gonna reload the stables and be able to make them run at the end.
I feel like a number of teams are really focusing on that press. I'm not saying it's been around for years, but like I feel like there's a huge focus for a lot of teams that are doing more full court press. Like, what's so successful about the way you guys run it?
Um, the way we run it is we run a couple different presses. We run a zone press and we run a man press, and you know not everybody has the athletes to do a full court man. You know, and then just the amount of pressure that we put on. I listened to Nate Schmidt from Collegiate talk about that press mentality, and not everybody's a pressing team. You know, if you don't practice it, then when you see it live, it's a whole nother reality, and not everybody likes someone up in their face full
Yeah.
court all game, and it creates nightmares for teams.
For your rotations, because of that press, like what are the minutes, like as far as distributing minutes, like how often are you rotating?
At the beginning of the year, when we weren't where we wanted to be in shape wise, we rotated 5 in, 5 out. You know, um, just depending on what the girls are feeling. And when you're having a lot of success, you can push yourself a lot further. Your mentality is a lot more positive. Right now, we're going as long as you can. I mean, if you can give me 3 minutes, give me 3 minutes. If you can give me 5 minutes, give me 5 minutes. And once we start seeing body language is real tough. If once your body language starts diminishing a little, then we send someone in, and it's give me what you got.
How confident were you to go like that deep? So like say you go at least 10 deep, like were you pretty confident, especially early on in the season, to use all 10?
Oh yeah. Bringing in the freshmen, they had to earn it, and then the uppers, we try to press a little every now and then, but we never really had the depth, and now we have the depth to. All right, if we get in foul trouble, that's our biggest enemy is foul trouble. But if we get in foul trouble, all right, next man up. That's my mentality is all right. I trust you. Give me what you got, and let's ride it.
You mentioned like the freshmen having to kind of earn it. It's like at what point do you feel like they did? Was there a moment, or they just did the upperclassmen kind of naturally, let them kind of ease their way into the system?
We had a team camp this summer, and my wife walked in one day, and she just looked at me and said, "This is going to be fun." And I said, "Yeah, they've been battling all day." And, they came in, and the freshmen wanted to play. The upperclassmen wanted to play. And it's been I told them every day's an audition. If you want to play, give me what you got in practice. And, that's where we've gone through. So, if you want to play, you better work at practice and earn your time on the floor.
What's summer ball like for you guys? Like what type of things are you looking for in your team during the summer?
I'm pretty hands off during the summer. We run just a 1 week team camp, but I'm looking at our roster right now. I would say 80% of the team does summer ball. Some do WKE, some do jam, but they're doing something all summer long. And so I let them, you know, do what they want. We do our 1 week team camp, and you know, kids are kids. They need a summer break as well.
You mentioned the success in the league. It's been fun to watch, Ashland, just what you guys have been able to accomplish. But I mean, like, how fun is that league? I mean, because that tournament looks like a lot of fun in Dodge City, and obviously the competition is there. It just seems like there's 4, 5, 6, teams that are right at the top of the states, year in and year out. Like, how much fun is that?
Oh, it's a blast. You have your perennial powerhouses every year that they just reload, and y- every week you're going to get a state level competition game at some point. And then you go to the tournament, and going to Dodge United Wireless Arena is just a whole nother atmosphere. It's a state level tournament at a state site, and you know getting that exposure early hopefully pays off at the end.
Well, the exposure and I gotta feel. I feel like you have to feel that you're battle tested. Like, I mean, like the true definition, of like battle test, like going through that league. Like, you got to feel pretty good when you get to postseason.
Yeah, playing South Gray twice this year, they're good. Spearville's big, having to learn how to play. We're not a big team, we're just a fast team, and learning how to play against a big team. Hodgman's tough. South Central's tough, and we've played some of those. We haven't played Buckland yet. They're tough. That'll be a fun game when we get to play them. But, if you look how many of our girls' teams are ranked, and then you
Yeah.
look at the boys' side, how many of them are ranked, and unfortunately, they're all stuck in the same sub-state at Spearville.
How has this team grown from the beginning to the end? I mean, you mentioned like getting in shape, but like, I mean, how has this team kind of evolved for you, Coach?
Um, there was you always have that animosity at the beginning, like who's going to play, and I think that we've gotten over that. People are starting to trust each other. You know, we separate teams daily. Okay, this five versus this five, we're going to go full court or whatnot. But they're starting to come together like a family. And we say family a lot. You know, you got a mean family. And as a family, you may not get along every day,
Sure.
but when time or push comes at the shove, you got to have each other's back. And I feel like we do have each other's back.
Year 3 for you at Ashland, just how much easier has it been for you just kind of, working your way through the system as well as a coach?
Uh, Getting to know everybody better, knowing who who can be pushed, who needs just different ways to coach each other. You know, I take a lot of input from people um, that have been there before. You know, it's I don't know. It's just become easier.
Yeah. Like for you, like making that move to Ashland, like what excited you about taking the job at Ashland?
Um, the Fox brothers, they were a real big influence. They'd been on me a couple of years before that. Hey, we want you here. We want you here. And when I came, I also coach football, basketball, track. So I'm around the kids, but I'm also around them a lot.
Did you always want to coach?
Yeah, my parents were both coaches. My dad coached at Hugoton. He was the girls basketball coach for 20 plus years there. Um, my mom was a track coach, and so I've been around it my whole life, and it was something that I didn't even think twice about.
Any similarities in your coaching style to say maybe your parents?
I laugh because when I was at Rolla, my dad was the junior high boys coach, and I was a high school boys coach, and uh, we would talk every day. He was my principal, and so we would talk, and he'd show me different things, and I'd say, "Okay, yeah, that works." And then I'd show him something, and we had this back and forth, and I laugh because I talk to him, maybe once or twice a week, but he's constantly sending me drills. Hey, what about this? What about this? And I laugh because we found an inbounds play at Rolla, and I've kind of modified it every now and then, and he sent me the original and said, "Hey, why don't you try this? This might work." And so he sent me pictures and drawings, and I laugh because sometimes I just open them, close the message like, "I don't have time for this, Dad." We're too late in the season to be adding new things daily.
So he doesn't ever like, hey, step aside, son. Let me take care of this.
Sometimes I believe that he would be okay with just like, "Hey, I'll get the games, you do the practices, and we'll be good."
There you go. Hey, Coach, appreciate the time and best of luck the rest of the year.
All right, thanks, Cole.
That's Jon Schnable, the head coach of the Ashland girls basketball team, and we'll have more of the show right after this.